What's going on, guys? 4 armies behind us, much more to come. 12 to be exact, I guess. Mathematics. How does it work? Okay, so today we have an army that I've been playing for the last, I guess, 2 years. So it's really hard for me to show you any new concepts in this army, I guess, because I've been figuring out a lot of stuff, and I'm very comfortable with the list that I've been using on the ETC. It's very hard to change something. So I will maybe just try to show you what I was the most happy about in the list and what maybe could be swapped out. So let me just start. Let me try to construct the list as usual, as per any other army. I will take the stuff that I think that is nice and that I really want in my list, and then we'll move on. So what I really want, which is a recent discovery, is a volley gun. Because I think it is really nice when you just put it on the flank and it covers a lot of stuff. And people are really afraid of it, so it can hugely impact the deployment and so on. So I think that volley gun is really great. I think cannon is pretty much a must still. And I want a steam tank, because steam tank is crazy. An Empire army without steam tank just makes very little sense. And as you can see, it's exactly 900 points in armory, so we are Gucci. Now, I definitely like my Knight Commander, and I like the equipment that I gave him recently, which is Hero Heart, which is Winter Cloak. I like the idea that he is that he has 5 up ward save, he is distracting, he has the 2 up against flame. I think this is really important for him. And for now, let's leave it at that. He's a nice general, and I need a core cavalry for him. Shields, knightly orders, lances 1 point each. I think in the next update it will change, because I think it was a misprint that they put them at 1 point each. And I want a banner of speed because I want my heroes to jump out as easily as I can. So let's pick 10 for now, because 10 is nice. I don't think that I need more. What you could do, that I'm not doing but might be a reasonable thing to do, is to pick your supports in form of the crossbows. So 2 units of crossbows. Will probably be enough for the support charges, and you have much more shooting, so you can possibly pick like 12 knights, 18. Let's just wrap it up to like 20. So 2 times 19 plus 1 champion. Great, sounds good. You can possibly remove something to give the champion the repeater gun. What can we remove to give the champion a repeater gun? Probably nothing. So let's stick it at that. So I think this is a fine core. I definitely want my wizard. Or maybe, let's think about it. Do I want a wizard master of cosmology, or do I want something else for my magics? Let's stick with the things that I really need. Other than that, I think I need at least 2 units of rangers. I really like the rangers. And just being able to troll the opponent is really cool. So I really want the 2 units of rangers, and I want 1 writers, just because this is something that you kind of require to have a chaff unit. The thing is that with double light infantry, it would be nice to have a second parent unit. So that's kind of problematic. This problematic is that you don't have, like, I don't want to have overcore. You don't have a like a special detachment unit, which is, I think, something that is a bit lacking, and that I would like to see. I would like to have. You can possibly change one of the light infantries to the big unit of riders, and then have another block of regular infantry dudes in core that would be a parent unit, but I think that doesn't make much sense. I'm not sure, because the problem is that you really need to shoot from 3 ranks from both of those units. I think what I kind of would like to have is this funny little thing. This is just an experiment, so I don't know. Oh, it probably doesn't really work that well. Let's see. Battle standard bearer. Oh, but he will have no. Because what I was thinking is I was thinking about a locket battle standard bearer with 2 orders, so that I can have 1 less hero that fights. But it's probably not good enough, honestly. Because the problem is that the locket guy also sometimes has to fight. Like the locket inquisitor has locket inquisitor has a very interesting stuff in the form of the 3 wounds. Locket prelate has divine attacks and hatred. So all this works. I think that I had spare points in core. So what I would try to put here, well. Do I want a detachment? Because I think playing Empire without counter charges just makes no sense. And the problem with light infantry is that it's really hard to position the counter charges. So maybe let's delete a bit of those. Let's put 14, 2 times 14 crossbows. Does this sound better? And then what I can have is I can have a small detachment unit with halberds and with full command. Okay, and can I have like 2 more now? Okay, so 16, 14. I can possibly change it to something a bit weirder, to have like 20 and then 10. Because then it's easier to give the order to the big one, and the small one can actually be used more as a chaff unit with a 12-inch march from the order. I would like to have a great tactician guy that is the BSB, that has a shield and that has a Willow's Ward. I used to have the immunity to lethal strikes on the Knight Commander and immunity to battle focus, which is actually really nice, and it helped me in 1 game against Undying Dynasties, where he could basically stop the whole unit of the, how they are called, Barrow Gods, I don't know, the Necropolis Gods. But for Barrow Gods it would work similarly. So it was nice, but let's see if I can fit this here. I think that the Prelate is a good investment. Prelate on horse with a Locket of Sana and with Kingslayer paired weapons. And then he needs a plate armor and he needs a Basalt infusion. Okay, so this is the Prelate setup that I used for ATC. I really like this Inquisitor setup. It's really hard for me, really, guys. Sorry for that, but it's really hard. Let's actually see if I can fit the Duskforge Inquisitor that doesn't have that doesn't have that. Okay, where is hand weapon enchantments? I want Hammer of Bitches. Doesn't have a ward up against fire, but he is 1-up reliable, so maybe he's better that way. And then I want a wizard that is a master of cosmology, that has a heirloom and scepter of power. And I don't have a spot for the binding scroll. I have a great tactician dude though. Don't have a spot for the binding scroll. I could get rid of the Duskforge and just get a 2-up against fire here. Then I would have exactly points for the binding scroll. Which one is more important? I think I would like to stick with it. If I wanted to experiment a bit, I would just pick the Duskforge. I think it's fine. And then what I wanted is I wanted a small unit of Imperial Guards. Just 15 of them, I think. Something like this. And let's see, it's 150 points. So can I get anything else really in here? Because I want a second parent unit. That's basically the gist of why do I want to have this. I have 30 shots here. Possibly I can increase one group of rangers to be like 10 of them. Okay, and then maybe I can increase the Imperial Guards a bit to stop them from being a unit of that fights, but just a parent unit that can do something. That's 20 Imperial Guard with the BSB, so that's a stubborn unit. Think I can put just an Ether icon on them and be done with the list. So this list is a bit more shooty than my usual list, my ETC list. Not much more shooty, but a bit more shooty. But it has weaker guard because I don't have the great weapons and I have a bit less of them. I think that's fine. You can have a champion on the ranges, but I don't think that this really brings anything. You don't have the scroll, but you have 2 orders. 2 orders might actually be a bit more important. You have the 1 available. I think this is the direction that I would possibly change the list. The issue is I really don't need those Imperial Guards. You can possibly take something like Flagellants instead. But the issue is that you basically kind of need 2 parent units and you basically need 2 or 3 support units. I think playing with all these mechanics just doesn't make any sense in the Empire, and like it's just bad. So that's my call for it. And the heroes are really amazing. The heroes are crazy. I've worked on the setup for the heroes for quite a while. I think this setup is also okay. You can possibly take 10 more points in the, maybe actually putting here like Lucky Charm instead of Ether Icon is a bit better. But I'm not certain. I think the idea of the list is still kept. And I'm sorry this episode wasn't very informative. In the sense, it was not very innovative maybe. I hope it was informative, so it gave you some idea on why I'm picking stuff that I'm picking. Maybe some ideas that could be different here. I think the Steam Tank is a must. I think this armory setup is just perfect. And then you are not really open to much points. Like, look, this is 290 plus 155 plus 145 plus 90. This is what? 450, 600, 700 points in special. When you take minimum core, this armory setup, and basically max heroes. So we have 700 points in special. What can you buy for 700 points in special? You can buy a big unit of Night Griffons, but they're not parent. And like, why the fuck do you need a big unit of Sun Griffons? Do you need more combat this list? I don't think so. I think the problem sometimes with the current lists from Empire is that you have not enough shooting, because things like Dread Elves really require you to have a decent amount of shooting. Things like, I don't know, rats also probably are very susceptible to things like crossbows, and I just think like cows or lions, or however you want to call them, they are not good enough. The Arcane Engine just doesn't bring anything, because your units are basically not the things that are fighting. Your heroes are the things that are fighting, and it's really hard to put an Arcane Engine in a position where it makes any sense. Here you have, okay, you can also go for like big unit of Riders with repeater guns, but I think this is a bit overkill. And then like, what other choices you are left with? You are left with probably Flagellants. And Flagellants are okay. I can totally see Flagellants being exchanged with the Imperial Guard, but then it's much harder to position stuff. So I don't know, I just prefer Imperial Guards for my own sake. And like, look, this is, okay, you can probably get like what? Like 20 Flagellants for this price? Yeah, it's pretty much exactly 20 Flagellants with the champion. But you don't have hatred for them, so they are not that great. And well, Frenzy plus the option that the general jumps out, so they don't have the leadership. It's just not that good. It's just not that good. They will definitely dish out the damage before they die. Well, maybe not definitely, because they can be shot at, but against the very heavy close combat meta that we have now, they might be able to, but still. I think that Imperial Guards are just better. Anyways, thank you guys very much for watching. Let me know what you think about the Empire in general and about this list idea. I think many of you actually like this list idea, because I've seen very similar concepts being used quite a lot recently. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one. Cheers.